Paul Craig, man, the Bear Jew, he comes in and he does something spectacular to Andre Muniz. I'm going to rock with Paul Craig here, and I'm going to rock with that plus 1400 TKO. I want to see ground and pound finish off of a submission attempt. We'll do a tape check on this one. Plus 1400 TKO. I think that Paul Craig's style of submission attempts to actual ground and pound is going to be the decisive key to a win over Andre Muniz. He broke Andre Muniz in a way that I thought wasn't even really possible, man, because this was the easiest that I thought we saw Andre Muniz break. But I think part of it was due to, Paul Craig had to cut a lot of weight. This is a light heavyweight, bro, cutting down the middleweight. When that big man gets on top of you, it's a different story. What did you think? How many times are we going to hit these plus 1,400 TKOs for the people, bro? What are we talking about?
Derek, I don't remember the exact word I used when you picked plus 1,400 TKO, but it was along the lines of crazy. It was long, maybe even miraculous. I don't remember, but I was in shock. I was like, all right, 1,400. We don't hit there often, folks, but this one for Paul Craig, my boy Derek, hit the nail on the head right there. This is actually one of the fights where I wish I could have taken this back. The other two we're going to talk about in a second. They were close. It happens. They're kind of how I expected the fight to go. Paul Craig showed up like an absolute animal, got things done, looked powerful, looked strong, looked intimidating, and then at the end has a very nice post-fight press conference. He is becoming the all-around mixed martial artist MMA fighter that's perfect for the UFC. Not off the top of my head, Derek, I can't name too many Scottish fighters, but it seems like Paul Craig is carrying the boat for by himself and doing very, very well at it. I'm excited to see who they partner him up next with, because it's going to be a hell of a fight anytime Paul Craig enters there. Tell me what you think, Derek. Did his stand-up seem more impressive to you? Because to me, it seemed like he was working. He was looking good. His slips, his feints, he was just a little faster than we've all seen Paul Craig be before. What did you take away from his stand-up?
I was not overly impressed by the stand-up on either of these gentlemen's behalf, I will be honest with you. I thought Paul Craig was just doing a lot of good work blasting those kicks, right? So he's weakening up the arms a little bit. He's able to stay at range so he doesn't eat the big shots, and then he was able to kind of pick his moments accordingly. So the stand-up, improved for sure, but I thought what was more even impressive than that was we had mentioned what are the strengths of these guys. Paul Craig, better jiu-jitsu off of his back. Andre Muniz, better jiu-jitsu and top control, in my opinion, in MMA-based styles, right? Well, what does Paul Craig do? Okay, well, if Andre Muniz is better on top control, let me put him on his back and let me start working, not my jiu-jitsu, but let me start working, some of those other attempts. If you even saw it, Andre Muniz had Paul Craig locked up in a nasty triangle, bro. So I was like, yo, Paul Craig about to get submitted by a triangle, and that's his go-to. So you were onto something. Like, Muniz almost had Craig out of there until he didn't. I just think right here, Paul Craig is that miraculous case of when the fight actually goes out, we doubt him, and he wins more often than he doesn't, right? When it's a short fight, when it's a super quick trying to get the shot and you get knocked out by Johnny Walker, when those started racking up, that's when it went bad. But before that, Paul Craig always has a shot when he's in there. He's clearly immediately going to be entering the top 15 at middleweight. You talk about what are some good matchups to make, man. I guess the real question is, middleweight is not particularly known as a super wrestling heavy division anymore, so they start giving them some nasty strikers. We might have some problems on our hands, you think?
Oh, 100%, Derek. And that's where I was leading in with my stand-up question, because as much as I think it did improve, it didn't improve greatly. It wasn't leaps and bounds that he was getting better. He wasn't now a stand-up kickboxing technician. But you look at some of the top middleweights, man, there's a lot of power and a lot of people that have been standing up for a long time. Yeah. But then that's also a coin toss for Paul Craig, because you're right, as much as he will be outmatched in the stand-up with a lot of these top fighters, they're going to be outmatched in the ground game that Paul Craig can get. So which of the two specialists do you think has a better chance to kind of close that gap and become the winner of those fights? I think Paul Craig has a good shot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he has definitely a good shot, but he has to get the fight to the ground. So we need to work a little more wrestling, a little less pulling guard. Because we saw him get stacked up against the cage a couple of times. It's just, it's tough. It's tough doing the jiu-jitsu stuff. Either way, listen, this was a big win by the Bear Jew. Paul Craig, welcome to the middleweight division.